I love you, Natalie.
Did you hear that? Victoria, my sibling, loves you. Okay, so I'm just gonna start, y'all. First off, everything that I'm about to share with you is stuff that Mallory knows and knew about from the very beginning. And also with all of this in mind, I just want you guys to know that I'm only gonna give you this person's first name because I don't really support any of this hate that's going to certain people. I just think that's really hard to deal with, and I just don't think that that's productive in any way. So I'm only gonna give you the first name because I don't know, call it karma or whatever. But I just don't like spreading that kind of hate to people. It's all in the past. This is not causing Mallory or me any pain at like today. It's not causing us any pain or anything, okay? So that's all. And with that, I'm gonna start with this person who was talked about on the show. So I'm gonna give you all the timeline. It was September, maybe October of 2019 when I started the casting process for LIB, for Love is Blind. And of course, like as you all know, the pandemic slowed everything down. Oh my gosh. So the pandemic slowed everything down. And, production did ask me not to put my life on hold. And I still kind of did, but I was seeing people openly and I was being communicative about that. So that happened 2019, October, September, right? Fast forward to February of 2020, which was when I met this person.
What?
I say her. I'll just tell you her name. I'm just skeptical, y'all, but I'll tell you the name. Her name is Dolly, and that happened February 2020. I went on a date, and we didn't pursue anything further after that. Fast forward a few months. It was summer of 2020. My sibling Victoria came home from a Black Lives Matter protest, and asked me how I knew this girl named Dolly. And it turns out they had followed each other on Instagram because Dolly was working with organizations in Chicago to support BIPOC communities throughout the height of the movement. We reconnected during these protests now that my siblings had become friends with Dolly. During that time, I shared with Dolly that I was in the final process of for Love is Blind. So knowing that, she still wanted to pursue something romantic, but I told her that I couldn't be in a relationship because I wanted to put exclusive dating on hold to explore this opportunity because I really wanted to do it. It's not every day that you meet people who are ready for marriage, and so I wanted to be in that space. I knew that I would regret not doing this opportunity, and I was honestly just excited about it. I felt like it was, I just really wanted to do it. And the whole process was so extensive, and I was like, they were really filtering out a lot of people, so of course I wanted to try this. Dolly said that she did understand, and later in the fall of 2020, she asked if we could continue seeing each other non-exclusively, so we agreed, and we would hang out until I would hear back from the Love is Blind team, right? So that's going on. That was fall of 2020. And I took notes, guys, because I wanted to make sure nothing was left unsaid. But throughout the rest of fall and winter and in the beginning of 2021, I was still being interviewed for the show. I knew, and she knew every step of the way that this was happening. I was discussing it openly with her. Between us and between my siblings, like I was just telling them that this was going on. So, and fast forward to the beginning of March 2021, they got back to me. They're all like, "Hey, you made the show. I'm cast. I'm filming, and filming starts April 2021." So I tell her the news, and she's not happy about it. I wasn't expecting hurt to come from me telling her that news because I believe that we were honoring the boundaries that we had set in place to protect our hearts, to protect ourselves. And reflecting on how that whole situation unfolded, I mean, I should have seen the red flag that she was hoping for more from the beginning. You know, she said she was comfortable with us seeing other people plus me doing the show, but would get upset and tense when I would share any updates about it, about the show. And I feel like we've all been there, you know, like we've all been in those kinds of relationships where we feel like, yeah, I could do this. It could be an open relationship, whatever. But you know that either one person or the other might be having deeper feelings, you know, and I understand that. So anyway, with that in mind, maybe I could have done better in that situation. But fast forward to the show, when I left to the show, and here I'm going to introduce my sibling, Victoria.
Because I have receipts, okay? I have receipts. I'm going to sit. Okay.
So, yes, I came back. Well, you go ahead.
No, please, you go. Please.
I came back from the show, and I got updates from Victoria about what was going on.
He wasn't allowed to be in communication with his family and with anyone, really. I mean, no one was allowed. And so, already having a friendship with Dali and wanting to, be supportive of, because she was experiencing a lot of emotional turmoil. And again, to Sal's point, we don't want any hate or harm to go to that person. They have apologized profusely to our whole family for the harm that this caused. And for context, when Sal went off to do the show, and what's covered in the show, in Love is Blind, where she showed up to my house, the situation happened that she thought that Sal would not go as far as he did in the process. So she believed that he would come home within days of flying out to start filming. And when he didn't, she became, very emotional. It was very difficult. I mean, we've all been there again. And so she was reaching out to me. She was very stressed. She was feeling really heartbroken about the situation. And when she came to my house, unfortunately, that was the peak of her distress. And I was very afraid because I had no communication with my brother. And the first thing that came out of her mouth to both me and my sister Daisy, who couldn't be with us today, but sends her love, she tells us first thing out of her mouth is that, her family's really upset that this is happening and that her brother is gonna shoot Sal. And makes it a joke, threatens my brother in my home. And I'm trying to stay calm about the situation with her because, again, this is someone that I became friends with. We had similar interests and passions together. And I, very stressful about the situation. And we seemed to calm her down, my sister and I, after all of that unraveled. And
can I clarify real quick?
Yes.
Just clarifying one thing real quick. She didn't say directly, I'm gonna shoot me or anything like that. What she said was that her brother had a gun and wasn't afraid to use it. And I just wanted to clarify that real quick.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, moving on, so that happens. She seems to be calm about the situation. And then a couple days later, I see on her social media that she had this photo of Sal on his birthday. And she edited the caption, and I will show you. I hid her username. I don't think she's on social media or anything anymore. But so May 18th, 2021, she edits this photo caption, and it says edited 7 weeks ago. I'm sorry, it's a little blurry. And so she says, kind of this romantically charged caption. And meanwhile, I don't know this, Sal doesn't know this, our friends don't know this, she's following casting agents for Love is Blind. She's following every single person that follows Sal, she's like getting information like from them, and so she's learning that cast of Love is Blind as well.
Right. As soon as I came back into town, she was stalking my followers, stalking who I was following.
Yes.
And knew everybody, and actually ended up trying to
She connected with someone on the show who was giving her information. I'm not going to say their name or their pronouns, but basically in that communication, this person, and this is a screenshot that I received from them, they asked this person, so it's someone asked, who was this girl following us? Who was this girl following us?
It's reversed.
Sal's girl or ex? And I said, I don't know. And Dolly's response to this guy was, I figured someone would ask eventually. My plan there was to just let them wonder. Love a good mystery. And she even acknowledges at the bottom of that, I appreciate you keeping your knowledge to yourself and all the support, Sal. And I had an agreement going into this, and I can either let myself sink into it. So again, she even acknowledged the terms to that person, like the communication, the boundaries that they had. And meanwhile, we don't know that she's doing any of this. And so by the time that I finally had the opportunity to talk to Sal, he had been given his phone back, I was like, yo, I'm freaking out about this situation. Like, I'm afraid that they're going to harm you. Like, I really think you need to get a restraining order. And I'm also being heartbroken about it because this is someone that I have a friendship with. This is like a huge breach of trust. And fast forward, back to the apology. She did, again, apologize. And I have her messages expressing, she says, I wasn't acting from the right state of mind. I'm like, screenshot it if you want. I'm human. I lost myself in pain, and I made mistakes that have clearly had consequences I did not intend, because being hurt is no excuse to hurt others. I know that. I truly never thought anything I did would or even could hurt him. I sincerely never thought anything would even get back to him until he came back, until he was off the show, is what she was still alluding to. And so she also then sent more messages in the summer, or later on in the year, saying because I had told her, I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want any communication with you. You've hurt me so much. You've hurt my brother. I don't want to do this. And she just said, I still have nothing but positive feelings and respect for you and Daisy. I'm so sorry. So it was a very stressful experience, and I don't feel like it was communicated as it should have been on the show, but that's neither here nor there. Mm-hmm. Again, I again really want to stress Sal's point as well. We don't want any hate to go to Dolly at all.
No, we really don't, y'all. And because I don't wish that on anybody. And even now, the people getting a lot of hate online for the show and whatnot, it's just really hard to be on the other end of that, and I don't support that or anything. So if those of you that are here, please hold back from that. It's because that is very charged, and it does affect people in a very negative way, and I don't support that. With that in mind, I know that I said that I would leave some time for Q&A at the end, but I cannot do that because of I just can't, because there's stuff that needs to.
He's getting nippy.
There's stuff that's still to come with the show. But I really appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and thank you for those of you that tuned in. I just wanted to make sure we cleared that up. And if you have any more questions, I'm looking at the comments. I love you guys, and I really appreciate all the love coming my way. And stay safe out there. Have a good night.